The first time I played Spec Ops The Line was in 2012. I saw Zero Punctuation's review of the game and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. I wanna play that. I was sitting in my room and at first I thought, oh, this is just a regular military shooter. I can't say I was bored during the first hour. The gameplay is not spectacular, but it's functional. But I was invested enough to keep playing. I wanted to know what was going on in Dubai. I finished the game in one day and at the end I was a wreck. The game absolutely broke me. Afterwards, for a few weeks, I didn't play video games. Every time I tried, all I could think of was Spec Ops The Line. Every time I killed someone in a game, I remembered the line, "Do you feel like a hero yet?" And I felt sick. Spec Ops The Line became part of me after that. It dug itself into my soul and carved out a space for itself. I still listen to the soundtrack of the game from time to time when I need a certain mood. I even bought a book about the game. Killing is harmless. There even was a time when I tried to recommend the game to all my friends, even if they didn't play military shooters. But I didn't mean to make a video about Spec Ops The Line. I haven't played the game since 2014, even though I still think about it. There is a sea of essays and videos about it. It has been dissected and analyzed from all angles, and I didn't think I could bring anything new or fresh to the discussion. But earlier this year the game was taken off Steam and other online stores, and as of writing this, you can't buy the game. It might come back. What seemed to have happened is the license for some of the music in the game ran out. It would not be the first time a game has been taken off stores for licenses running out. It happened to GTA 4 in 2018, but there they just patched the game to remove the music. Spec Ops The Line uses its own soundtrack, but there are also licensed songs in the game being played at key moments. Heck, the main menu plays Star Spangled Banner by Jimi Hendrix, so they might renew the license or re-release the game with the license taken out. But there is a chance that the game won't be released again, and that would be a shame. So I want to talk about the game. Spec Ops The Line was released in 2012 and is part of the Spec Ops series, a series of tactical military shooters. The first game was released in 1998 to favorable reviews. From 1998 to 22, there were 6 games developed across different platforms. After that, the series went to slumber for 10 years. It seems that the series burnt itself out. Too many games too quickly, and the last few had declined in quality, according to some reviews. Spec Ops The Line was marketed as another tactical military shooter, and in 2012 we were drowning in them. It was another cover shooter in the styles of Gears of War, where the color palette was brown. So for a while it seemed that it would just be another one. Someone else that wanted a Call of Duty, Gears of War or Battlefield money. So they revived the Spec Ops series in hope to get some nostalgia money. Oh, how wrong we were. The game is a trap, a chameleon. It disguises itself as a regular military shooter, so it then can critique it. It is a critique of the genre, of its mechanic and messages. It quickly came out what kind of game it truly is, and became a niche darling. By now the secret of the game is out. Heck, it's over 10 years old. But man, in 2012, if it landed with you, it broke you, just like it broke me. So let's talk about Spec Ops The Line, and what it's trying to say. The first thing you see as the start of the game are the ruins of Dubai. Your eyes are drawn to someone sitting next to an American flag looking out over the city, and you hear Jimi Hendrix' Star Spangled Banner. This is what you will see and hear every time you boot up the game. It is important to note the symbolism of Star Spangled Banner. It is the national anthem of the USA and usually seen as a propaganda piece. But when Jimi Hendrix played it in Woodstock, it was meant as a protest against the Vietnam War. Right from the start screen, there is an anti-war message. You play as Captain Walker. You and your teammates are sent into Dubai that has been wrecked by sandstorms, to the point that it's been cut off from civilization. Around the city there is a storm wall, a sandstorm that is going on day and night. Why there are these massive sandstorms around Dubai, we don't find out. That is a plot device to cut off Dubai from the rest of the world. There are no hidden lore about the sandstorm. It's just a plot device. Before you arrived, the US military sent Colonel Conrad and the 33rd Battalion. They volunteered to help evacuate Dubai, and for a long while no one heard anything from them. The sand wall blocks radio communication. Until a few days ago, a radio message was picked up from Conrad. The evacuation of the city, a complete failure. That all too many. That is where you come in. Your squad is sent to Dubai to find out what happened and then leave. That is your mission. Make contact and then leave. You start the game in a helicopter, shooting down other helicopters. You seem to be escaping from something, and after a tense action sequence, your helicopter crashes. You don't get an explanation of what that was, but it is framed as a flash forward, like a look at all the cool things you will get to experience if you stick with this. It then fades to black and you get a cutscene explaining the setting, and then your squad, Delta Force, gets through the sandstorm. As you pass through the sandstorm, you are met by some locals, and they don't seem happy to see you. You try to talk with them, but a firefight breaks out no matter what you do. They say that you will just kill them too. It seems that the situation in Dubai is worse than anyone thought. So you fight them and move forward, trying to understand what is going on. The first few chapters are framed as tutorial levels, setting up scenarios so you can test out all the mechanics of the game. With the framing, it seems that the locals will be your enemies in this game, as they are the first thing you fight in the tutorial chapters. You fight on and pick up another distress signal from someone from the 33rd Battalion, and you head off to save them. It seems that the local has started kidnapping soldiers from the 33rd. You fight your way towards the plane where the soldiers are being held. On the way you find out that the 33rd calls them insurgents, the group of locals fighting the 33rd. You try to save the soldiers in the plane, but they are all hurt, and are dying as you're trying to get the information from them. He says to forget about him and go to the nest. So you make your way there. As you fight your way into the nest, the first song is played in the game, Hush by Deep Purple. Your squad made comments on how it's weird that someone is playing music, but you fight through. As you fight your way in, you come across the first twist of the game. The CIA is in Dubai. One of the CIA agents have kidnapped a soldier. They are being interrogated about how many soldiers there are around a water depot. It won't be a stretch to imagine that water has become very important in Dubai, with the sand wall cutting it off of the rest of the world. There is also talk about how the CIA has stirred up locals to fight. That there would still be peace in Dubai if the CIA hadn't interfered. It seems that the insurgents are led by the CIA. The CIA's agent's counterpoint is that the 33rd were the one that went rogue. The soldier is about to be killed, but with your interference they are saved. The CIA agent dies. You let the soldier go, and you follow him down a rope. And it is here where you start fighting American soldiers. The 33rd thinks you are part of the CIA. They see that you are dressed as US soldiers, but you're not part of the 33rd, so you have to be the enemy. Your squad mates try to talk to them, but they won't listen, so you kill them. It is self-defense after all. As Walker says, they are no longer part of the US Army, so it is okay to shoot them. It is all fine and justified. See how easy and quickly it changed the enemy that you will fight the rest of the game. Gameplay wise, it feels the same. They are people with guns, but something did change. You feel it in your soul even if you don't recognize it in your mind. The people that you have come to help have turned to be enemies, all because they started to shoot you. You head on. You're now looking for Conrad. You will have the answers to what is going on. You keep going down and find that the 33rd are rounding up civilians in the nest. For what reason you don't know, but you get a clue as you hear a DJ talk on the radio. The truce was broken, and he questions why you would be so stupid to do that, and he starts playing another song, and you start killing soldiers. Of note is the song that the DJ play at this point. It's Bad Vibrations by the Black Angels. To me, the song is here to set the mood. It starts when a hard fight against the 33rd begins, and you get a feeling that these are the people that you will fight from now on. The people you came to help are now your enemies. This whole scene is just bad vibrations. The fight is hard, but you use the sand to kill the last of the soldiers. But the locals don't seem happy that you have killed the soldiers, so you leave before things get worse. But why would they be angry at you? You saved them from the 33rd, right? Walking away, Walker is trying to make sense of the situation. It seems a civil war has broken out in the 33rd. People loyal to Conrad and people that have switched over to the CIA. Before you start thinking about what Walker is saying and what you have done, your teammate Lugo picks up a signal. It seems someone is interrogating someone and you're using torches to get info from them. You follow the signal to rescue the person and come to a stunning sight. You really get to see the power of the sand and standing on rooftop looking down into a ravine. But didn't you come from ground level? When did you come up to the rooftops? No matter. It's a video game after all. Artistic license and all that. So you head down and down and down. On the way you hear soldiers talk, and they sound so human. They are regular soldiers that got sent here and trying to do their best in a foobar situation. But they are the enemy. You have to kill them. They are bad, and you are good. After all, you're here to rescue someone that is getting tortured, so killing is justified. You fight the soldiers and keep going down, and an accident happens where you get separated from your teammates, and you fall down to the bottom of the ravine. For the first time you are alone, and you have to fight on your own. You also notice that you're not as clean as you were at the start of the game. Blood and dirt has been smeared on Walker, making him look less professional, which is realistic with all the things that you have done and all the soldiers you have killed. But you are soon reunited with your teammates, and you head on looking for the torture victim. You soon find a pit filled with corpses. The 33rd have had a purge in their rank. It's a gruesome scene. It seems that Conrad had to make a lot of thought decisions in Dubai to save people. But you do manage to find the source of the signal. It is coming from a speaker in a corpse. It's a trap set up to catch someone. But not you. It was a trap for another CIA agent, Gould. The DJ on the radio is surprised to see you, as he doesn't know who you are. You are an unknown in a tense situation. They don't want you here. But Agent Gould knows who you are. He recognizes you as Delta Squad, and he helps you escape. There is a tense escape sequence from an helicopter and you fall down again. There's a lot of falling down in this game. You never rise. At the bottom, you find that your teammate Adams got hurt in the fall. They can walk and fight, but they will be hurting. They are hurting just as you are. And they ask you about the mission. Do you remember your original mission? Come in, establish contact, and then leave. That was it. You made contact a long time ago. So why are you still here? They also question working with the CIA, but as Walker says, the 33rd are damned. You saw the havoc they had brought to Dubai, and it is now up to you to stop them. After all, you're a hero, so by extension, they are the bad guys. You head on and fight more American soldiers. And then someone uses white phosphorus, and you get to see the full horrors of it. People that burn alive, screaming for their life. It is sickening to look at. And yet Walker tries to justify the use of it. They had no choice. You can feel his worldview crumbling, trying to justify all the things he has seen and done. There has to be an explanation where all of this makes sense, and he is still a good person. At last you found Gould. He is captured by some of the 33rd. Here you can make a choice. Save Gould or some civilians. The cruel twist is that Gould dies no matter what you do. You get to talk to him for a brief moment as he dies. He says that you need to reach the gate, and then he dies. Another soul that you could not save. At this point, after failing to save Gould and or the civilians, your teammates are really questioning what we are doing here. They even fight each other, not being able to cope with all the things we have done so far. To them, we are not good people anymore. Walker tells them to act like soldiers, to push all the doubts down into nothing. You tell them to just follow your orders. Don't question, don't think. Act like good soldiers and just follow orders. And yet, you broke your own orders. You break them in the first 10 minutes of the game. Are you a good soldier? So you head on. You fight some more, and then you reach that scene. You reach a point where you can't go on. There are too many enemies between you and the gate. You can't kill them all. But next to you are the white phosphor grenades, all ready to use. Your teammates argue we don't have to use it. You can try and fight the 33rd, but you will lose. The battle is impossible without the grenades. The game forces you to use it. There has been a lot of talk about this scene, how it forces you to commit a war crime, that you don't have a choice in what to do. What is my take? Well, I think that is the point, that the game forces you to do it. They just frame it differently from other games. They want you to question what you're doing, and for what reason. To me, it is not a contradiction in the game. It feels like a call out to other game developers. Think about the things you put into the game, what you want the players to do, and for what reason. This could have easily been framed differently. Play with a cool military toy and feel like a badass. But they choose to frame it as the horror it is. The point of this scene is you to question what you are doing and why. So you send out the camera and start the bombardment. You sit in front of a black and white screen and mark where you should send the grenades. All you see are black and white silhouettes and a vague reflection of Walker. There is a layer between you and the victims. They are bad and you are good, and they have to die. Call of Duty has done this kind of segment before. Sure, not with white phosphor, but where you are on a screen killing people from a distance. And when all of them are dead, you walk right to the horror that you have made. People are screaming and dying all around you. The air is changed because of you. You have made a hell on earth, and you have to walk through it. You reach the end and find one soldier still clinging to life, and he asks you, why? Walker responds that you brought this on yourself, and then the soldier responds, we were helping. Confused, you head on, and then you find the civilians from the nest. Remember the people that the 33rd were kidnapping? Well, here they are, and they're all dead, burnt alive, because of you. Do you feel like a good person? Do you feel like a hero? Did these people really get kidnapped, or were the 33rd rescuing them from the nest? You can see Walker breaking under the horrors that he has done. The scene is really well made. The camera work, the sound, the music, they really sell it. But, like a good soldier, Walker snaps out of it and tells his men to move on. He will not let this horror get to him. After all, it was not his choice. Sometimes heroes has to make hard choices. That is how I think he frames it in his head. Besides, you have to move on. You have a gate to take. You can't stop and think about what you have done. So you storm the gate, and at this point you have become a monster to the 33rd. They hate you. They saw what you did, the horrors that you have unleashed. You reach the top of the gate and find Conrad's command step, dead by white phosphorus. It seems that there have been a massive purge in the higher ups of the 33rd, making it so Conrad is the only one left in charge. And you find a walkie-talkie, and for the first time you heard Conrad's voice. He talks to you over the walkie-talkie for the rest of the game. Conrad talks about the hard choices they had to make sure people survived. So you head on. Conrad is now your enemy. He has to be stopped. He has to pay for the things he has done. What else can you do? You find a test he has laid out for you, trying to explain to you all the hard choices you had to make in Dubai, trying to make you understand. Two people are hanging in the air, a civilian that stole water and a soldier that killed a civilian's family as he tried to capture the thief. The choice you have to make is who is more in the wrong, and if you don't make a choice, Condra's soldiers will gun you down. The cruel irony is, in the grand scheme of things, this choice don't matter. You fight more of the soldiers, and you meet another CIA agent, Agent Riggs. The CIA is here to capture the remaining water in Dubai. Water is key right now. Control the water, control the city. That is why the unknown CIA agent at the beginning had so many questions about the water depot. But Riggs doesn't seem like a stable person. He taunts you, mocks you, but you go ahead with him. What else can you do? Stop? God, no. Then you might reflect on what you have done. So you help Riggs steal the remaining water in Dubai. 3 large water trucks. That is all the drinkable water that is left. To do it, Riggs sacrifices the last of his soldiers to be a distraction, so you can storm the building where the water is. Wait, did I say soldiers? I am sorry. They are civilians that he have armed and set up against the worst of the 33rd. They died so you could steal the remaining water in Dubai. But if you do this, it will all be worth it. Riggs says that he wants to steal the water so he can negotiate with the remaining 33rd. You have seen what they have done. Maybe it's time for new leadership in Dubai. So you get the water and flee. The soldiers shoot you, and you see bullet holes forming in the tanks, and a sinking feeling forms in your gut. The escape won't end well. The water tanks crash, and the last of the water in Dubai is gone. Which was the CIA's plan from the beginning. That is what Riggs tells you as you find him pinned under the wreckage of the trucks. They never wanted control of the city. They wanted to kill everyone in here. The outside world can't learn what happened here. Riggs claimed that if the outside world learned what happened here, there would be war in the Middle East. And they can't have that. That is why they are here. They are here to protect the image of the USA. That is what the CIA does. They exist to further American goals and interests internationally. They will destabilize a country just so America has a foothold in it. And you have aided them in doing that. To the American government, you are a good soldier. Therefore, you are a hero. Here you get to make another choice. Shoot Riggs or let the flames take him. You can't save him. It seems that you can't save anyone. You team up with your squad again after the water gets destroyed. What will you do now? Well, you still need to help people, right? If they're going to die from thirst, then you need to evacuate them, just like Conrad tried. I mean, he had a whole battalion, and he couldn't do it. But I'm sure Delta Squad can. So you decide to storm the place where the DJ lives. Then at least you can send out evacuation message. Sure, people will die trying to escape through the sand wall, but you will save someone. You will be a hero. The way to the DJ's tower is hard. At this point, the 33rd see you as an absolute monster, the doom of Dubai. But they don't just understand. We're trying to save them. They are being unreasonable. We are heroes. The DJ start playing another song at this point. Nowhere to Run by Martha Reeves and the Vandals. After all you have done, you truly have nowhere else to run. Or are you running away from your conscience? There is a really cool fight in a mannequin room where you can't tell the difference between enemies and humans. You feel your mind breaking under the stress and lack of sleep. But you head on. You find one soldier surrendering, but your treatment of them is no longer like a POV. You treat them like scum. In Walker's eye, they have defected from US Army. Therefore, they don't deserve the rights of a POV. The soldiers tell you how to get to the DJ's tower, and you storm it. You get in through a line and bump into a soldier guarding the tower. And for a moment it looks like your teammate Adams. They're talking to you, but they're also drawing a gun on you. So you have to kill your teammate, I mean soldier. Your teammates are worried about you now. They see you breaking under the stress. But you also hear the contempt in their voice for the situation you have brought them into. On your way up the tower, the DJ taunts you with all the things you have done, but he seems to know things he should not know, like if you left Riggs alive or not. How could he know all these things? Sitting up there in his tower above the clouds, all knowing. He also taunts you when you kill soldiers guarding the tower, saying that they had family. You're killing brothers, fathers, you're killing human beings, but you're still a good person. You reach the top finally. The GJ is waving a white flag. He is surrendering to you. You have a brief conversation with him. He tells you what to do so you can broadcast your message. Lucor thanks him, and then shoots him. He despises him. He deserves to die. Adam freaks out, but Walker doesn't care. You start sending out the evacuation measures, but Conrad cuts you off. He tells you that he tried and they all died. No one is leaving Dubai. And before you can continue on, a helicopter starts shooting at you. It lands and more soldiers storm the tower. The only way to escape now is to take the helicopter. Luco is left behind to provide cover as you and Adams make your way to the helicopter. As you reach the helicopter, you start to provide cover for Luke so he also can reach it. For a brief moment, you wonder if you have to leave him behind, but he makes it to the helicopter, and you fly away. Well, after you bring down the tower. Why you're doing this, I am unsure. It seems to be pure petty revenge, release of anger. For a moment you think, we can leave now. We have a helicopter, but the 33rd won't let you leave. They bring in more helicopters on you, and you have to shoot them. Haven't we done this before? All this seems so familiar. Even Walker comments on it. It doesn't matter. You kill the bad guys. That is all that matters. But a helicopter crashes into you and you fall down. The DJ's tower was above the cloud, almost like you have reached heaven. The all-seeing DJ. And now you crash into the bottom, into hell. You wake up to Conrad talking to you, questioning what you are doing. You insist that you had no choice in the things that you have done, that you only tried to help. You cling to any excuse you have just so you don't have to confront the things that you have done. Conrad says that 5,000 people were alive in Dubai when you arrived. How many are alive now? You could stop, but no. Your teammates need you. They have rescued you so many times. This time you need to rescue them. So you head on and you find Adams. He is hurt, but you can save him. But he is not happy to see you. You feel the contempt oozing from him. But you team up again and you head on to find Lukum. You hear him over the radio. He is trapped somewhere and needs your help, but you're too late. The locals got him before you and hung him. To them, you are monsters. You killed the 33rd, their savior, used white phosphorus on their family, and you destroyed all the remaining water. You are a walking war crime. You tried to save Luco. You cut him down, but it don't work. He is dead. All you can do now is head on. Conrad has to pay for what he has done. What has he done, really? The last stretch to the tower where Conrad is hard, and in the end you get surrounded, and Walker surrenders, because then they might take you as a POV and into the tower. After all that you have done, the 33rd still gives you a chance to surrender. How bad are the 33rd really? But Adams will have none of it. He refuses to stop. He pushes you over the cover and he goes out in a blaze of glory and you run. But Adams is not happy about it. He is furious with you for all the things you made him do, for the hell you dragged him and Luco into. Finally, you reach the tower where Conrad is. It's a slow march up to it. You limp as you walk, blood and dust is smeared everywhere, your clothes are ripped. The remaining soldiers of the 33rd salute you. Dubai is yours now. There is no one left to stop you. Do you feel like a hero yet? At the top of the tower, you enter Conrad's house. He has been painting the people that died to the white phosphorus bombing. How could he know all of this? He taunts you, asking you what you have done. And at last, you reach him, Conrad, sitting on a chair looking out over the city. And he is dead. He has been dead since the beginning of the game. You have been talking to yourself all this time. You are shown flashbacks showing what really happened. All the clues were there from the start. You are the only one who said that Conrad was alive. No one else spoke to him. Your teammates never reacted to Conrad's voice. They reacted to you hearing Conrad's voice. You made him up so you would have someone to blame. Also, you could keep the delusion of you being a hero going, but you can't hide from the truth anymore. Something has to give. And here the game gives you a choice. Kill Conrad or yourself. That is up to you, the player. There is a quote that I keep coming back to from this game. To kill for yourself is murder. To kill for the government is heroic. To kill for entertainment is harmless. There have been many things said about Spec Ops The Line, about how it portrays PTSD, war, how it is inspired by the heart of darkness. But what has stuck with me is that line: killing for entertainment is harmless. Look, I am not going for the oh, killing in a video game makes you a murderer nonsense. But there is something in me that keeps on thinking, why don't we question why we kill in games? Why are games so often tied around killing people? Disturbing is too harsh of a word, but there is something intriguing in that the first way we think of adding stakes or a gameplay loop to a game, we go to how and why do we kill someone? Why does it say about the industry when the most profitable games ever are always tied around killing someone? And tied to this is the framing of the main character as the hero, the protagonist. Most characters in game that you play are mass killers. Think of how many people you'd killed in Spec Ops The Line, in the Mass Effect trilogy, in Baldur's Gate 3, and etc. And yet, you are framed as the hero, as a good guy. If you're making a game where you are the hero and killing these many people, you need an explanation for it, a justification. And if you don't think it through, then harmful ideas can slip in. And I'm sure that developers would want to flesh it out. But games are made in a hellish capitalist system where they need to be made fast and cheap. The art in video game is secondary to making money. The shareholders of companies want that Call of Duty money. So copy what they are doing, fast and cheap. Just make the enemies Arabs or Russians, like they did in Call of Duty 4. Sure, we lose all the nuance and framing, but who cares? As long as it sells and the shareholders gets their money. All the things that the artist wants to make and flesh out are thrown out the window to make it faster and cheaper. And that is how you let harmful ideas slip into your art. If you make a game where you kill a lot of people, where the hero is a white person and all the enemies are brown people, and it is framed as the hero is doing all the right things, you are spreading harmful ideas like colonialism, imperialism, racism. We need to question the art we consume. And I think that is one of the big messages of Spec Ops The Line. Why do we play games? I do it to unwind, and sometimes to pass time. Sometimes it's because I want to experience something new, a new story, a setting, or just a cool gameplay idea. All these things are excellent reasons to play games. But games are also art, and art is meant to be reflected on, to be thought about, and some games try to hide that. Don't think about what you're doing. Don't think about the people you are killing, or how many you are killing. After all, killing for entertainment is harmless, and it is. But Spec Ops The Line wants you to engage with its themes and ideas. It wants you to question what you are doing in this game and why you're doing it. So that when you play another game, you also question why you're doing it in that game. And if that game is contributing harmful stereotypes, then you will notice them. If you are questioning a harmful message, it loses its power. Notice that in Spec Ops The Line, the locals only wanted to survive, and the 33rd did try to help them, but it was an absolute foobar situation that grew out of control. But the 33rd did stay and try their best to help. They were damned because they choose to stay. And then the CIA came in to clean up what the some bigwigs in Washington thought was a mess, only so that American interest in the regions would not be jeopardized. Who cares about human lives when it's valued against American interest? I don't know where I read it, but someone said the CIA is a terrorist organization. If Russia or China did what the CIA are doing on that scale, the world would call them a terrorist organization. But since America is doing it, it is fine. After all America does is good. They are heroes. Don't question it. Spec Ops the Line could really easily have been a standard dull military shooter it is hiding as. But by reframing what you're doing and why, it made it into a critique of the genre, and I can't really think of another game that did what Spec Ops the Line did. It's a game that should not be forgotten, and I do hope it returns one day to stores so other people can play it. Thank you for listening.